Hello? Hello. Oh, okay. Glad you could make it. I'm sure that a lot of you don't know this, but I guess I should start by introducing myself. In that case, hey there, I'm the All-Consuming Critic. This is the very first review I've ever done, and I'd like to hope that I can do more in the future. I know what you're gonna say. Don't you need, experience or a strong opinion to be important enough to get your reviews noticed, like the Channel Awesome crew? Otherwise, you're just some asshole with an expensive microphone. That may ordinarily be the case, but I've been training for years for this. My PhD in criticology, my record of coming in first place at the International Mr. Facetious Douchebag pageant 5 years in a row, would have been 6, but then they started testing for sarcasm-enhancing drugs, and my 6th degree black belt in bullshit jitsu and Google foo. Plus, since I just got my copy of the reviewer's handbook here, I'd like to say I'm pretty overqualified. Now with that covered, how about we get started? This is just a little something I like to call Animation Unknown. This is where I call attention to an obscure or unknown work and give my thoughts on it before moving on to the scoring. So, remember Oh Yeah Cartoons on Nickelodeon? You know, back when it was still good? I think we all like to remember the good old days, before Nick was overtaken by a wolf pack of chimpanzees in some Rise of the Planet of the Apes style war. What? How do you think it happened? Anyway, well, Cartoon Network has basically taken over this decade of animation and rules with an iron fist. Nickelodeon was in power for most of the 90s. With the world reeling from the death of Superman, the soon-to-be death of rap metal, and 9/11 just far enough out of our sights, we had the classic Nicktoons. Ren and Stimpy was breaking down the boundaries of what cartoons were capable of, long before they turned into whatever adult party cartoon was supposed to be. Doug had been excommunicated from their network, and then there was Oh Yeah Cartoons. Assumably because Fuck Yeah Cartoons was already taken. Those who don't remember, Oh Yeah Cartoons was a pilot showcase series running on Nick, which differed from then New Kid in Town Cartoon Network's What a Cartoon for having a less 90s theme song.
What? Ah!
Most of you may know it for the places where shows like Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and Fairly Odd Parents originally debuted their pilots, and FOP's Season 0. Among a few others, the missed potential we got was Larry and Steve, well known for creating the prototypes of what will become Peter and Brian Griffin respectively.
Whoa, a dog that speaks English.
What?
You know, I once had a Jack Russell Terrier that spoke Dutch, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Listen to me. If you don't get me out of here, I will be put to sleep. Do you understand me? You will be indirectly responsible for the resulting euthanasia.
Oh boy, they got enough kids over there as it is.
Another pilot from Hartman called The Kid from School, which seemed a lot like if Butch Hartman created Codename Kids Next Door with James Bond and a bit of Fillmore. Trust me, I couldn't find any footage. And even in a few short-lived series like Mina and the Count and Super Santa, which is exactly what it sounds like.
I'm afraid not, dear wife. There's trouble in our fair city. People in danger. Children scared!
That look in your eye tells me we're in for some action.
Quick, under the mistletoe! To the Santa sleigh!
From atop of our world comes a man who embodies the true spirit of
Ultimately, though, I decided to go with this one, Magic Trixie.
The great and powerful Trixie! Need some peanut butter crackers.
Close, but no. If you really want to know my thoughts, let's get started. Plot. This is where we talk about the story, cover a few episodes, and judge the potential of the series. The concept behind this short is that a little girl named Trixie goes to a magic show to see a great magician called Migmar Magma, who sounds like the name of a Zatara villain, and kinda looks like Mumbo Jumbo from Teen Titans.
Coincidence? I think not!
Migmar chooses her to be his assistant on stage, but she accidentally ends up upstaging him at every turn.
Thank you! And how about my competent assistant?
No matter what he tries to do. I kind of like how they actually managed to take advantage of the cartoon logic, and the story is very well paced, with a funny ending. I give it a 6 out of 10. Characters. This is where I go into detail about the main and supporting cast, and judge them on designs, likability, and their wait! Scratch that last one. I mean their actions. The characters are simple but really fun, especially Trixie, who is absolutely adorable in her naivety and most of her one-upping Migmar, who seems almost accidental, but it's kind of cute. She goes the entire episode silent except for one line.
I have natural talent.
So I've noticed.
But I'm not sure if that was meant to be something that would be a thing in the potential series, or if it was just written that way for the episode. Migmar himself is a pretty interesting character, and I kind of would like to see more out of him.
Be careful with that expensive equipment, you idiotic, moronic, imbecilic, stupids. Natural talent doesn't come cheap.
Since these characters are so great, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Animation. This isn't a thing I usually do, but I'll bring it up if I feel it needs to be addressed. The short has a lot of really funny jokes, mostly sight gags that play around with the animation a lot. The designs and animation are very well made and basic. The art style kind of reminds me of a very vintage look from the late 40s, early 50s. I like it, and it all moves very fluidly for hand-drawn animation of the time. Now, on to the next segment. Enjoyment. This one is pretty simple, just explaining if I enjoy it and if others will too. I loved this pilot from the very start. The expressive character designs, the classical and fluid art style, the adorable main character. It's a fantastic episode, and if you can, I would strongly recommend tracking it down, though it was a pain in the ass to find. However, now it's a bit easier to find since I've found it posted around YouTube. I give it a 7 out of 10. Go watch it. Now let's move on to creativity. This is where I go into the unique little moments they do, or punish them for not doing anything new and ripping off something better. I would say this is extremely creative, with all the really great moments in animation, and just how funny the visual jokes are. There's a part where Migmar tries pulling a ball only planted in Trixie's hat before the show, and she ends up pulling out various farm animals, even a tractor. Or another moment where she just whistles until she finds the right musical note to unlock her chains in an escape act. I'd definitely give it a 7 out of 10. Now we move on to the final segment. Was this worth a series? Though this is only reserved for pilots. If I had to be asked, yes. I really wish this was a series.
Yes, you're very welcome. And now off you go, and on with the show. She stays in the act or you're out of a job.
Bring in a few more characters, maybe do some more stuff with Trixie. It could be a pretty fun series. Let me just ask, would you want to live in the alternate universe where Magic Trixie became a full series instead of My Life as a Teenage Robot? Either way, if nobody else does it, there's nobody saying that any of you out there can't try to take a crack at it. We've seen before that ideas that weren't brought to their full potential, like Herman's Head, can be turned into something fantastic under the right people like Inside Out, or spiritual successors like Bioshock and Yooka-Laylee. So, assuming that this was made into a series when the pilot came out in 1999, I'd say it'd stick around for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. I feel like they really carried this show farther than it could have been taken, but I would have really been curious about other episodes. Or who knows, maybe they would have kept a similar premise instead of a girl with unknown magic talent and taken that to whole new heights. But as it stands, this one definitely gets a pass. Final score, plot 6, characters 10, enjoyment 7, creativity 7, execution 8, hit for a total score of 38 out of 50. I know that score might seem kinda low, but there are far lower scores than that. Now, hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I'm the all-consuming critic. I know I don't look it, but trust me, I'm a professional.
For me to find get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love her.
Wrong move, you're dead.